volunteered their bodies for medical research. There were a lot of tattoos and mohawks in hospitals back in the 90s. These people needed to pay their rent. They put their bodies into those medical research. It was hardly random. We've got Thor and Iggy and 13 other guys from 2.5 children ready to draw some more blood. Oh, you got a tattoo last week. Can't do you, Thor. So that's the problem, is we hope this is random. And that's the best we can do. Is we have to look at the actual study. That's why I made a big deal about that Gallup poll. Go look at the study. Go find the actual study. See how the sample was drawn. Look for the word random. It's not just as easy as that. And then question how it was done randomly. More on that in 244 and way more on that in your research methods classes. Promise. Here's what you're interested in. You're interested in what are called parameters. The problem is you can't get them. And that's not because I'm a mean bastard. That's because you can't get them. A parameter is some measure of an entire population. Now, I have no idea how they were measuring the jolt, quote unquote jolt, from caffeine in those caffeine addicts. Go ahead, tell me your name.
Megan, I just sneezed.
Oh, you sneezed! It sounded like a word. That's a wonderful sneeze. You should rent that out. Like party tricks. No, maybe they're measuring, sorry, these are the jokes, kids. You'll hear them in 244 too. Maybe they're measuring number of times someone blinks in a minute. Maybe they're measuring a heart rate increase. Blood pressure changes, who knows? If they're measuring something, I'm stoked. What I hope they're not doing is asking, how do you feel today? That's the last thing I want to hear from a scientific journal. How do you feel? Because how do you answer that? I feel great. You're right, Natalie, what's the problem with that?
Feelings or
No, it's all relative.
Yeah.
But it's subjective. You need an objective measure like a heart rate or an eye blink or something along those lines, which is what doctors and nurses look for in medical testing. They look for those indicators, certain indicators that are triggering something else or the sign of a trigger of something else. The problem is, even if we have defined, let's suppose it's eye blinking over the course of time. Suppose it's blinking eyes. Even if you were interested in the number of times a caffeine addict blinks versus the non-caffeine addict, you're never going to be able to get all of them measured. How many caffeine addicts are there? Too many to count. Too many to measure. That's why you draw a sample. But if you draw a sample, you don't have the entire population, so you can't have the parameter. So what you have is what's called a statistic, and that's why your course is called probability and statistics, and not probability and parameters. Because if it was probability and parameters, there wouldn't be any probability. It'd be certainty. I know that caffeine addicts blink 16.2% more times per minute than non-caffeine addicts because I asked every single one. And my name is Yoda and I'm 970 years old because that's how I did it. And I use my lightsaber. I mean, that is ridiculous. You can't do that. So you have to draw a sample. And we'll sort of show ways of dealing with that uncertainty because there is uncertainty in that because you went through a sample. But more on that as we get back from the break. Let's take 5. Close the camera down for the time being. Go